son of daughter in the lawn. Okay, grandchild killed in a crash. He ran against the. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know that. Darren Bailey, son, daughter. I didn't. Sorry about that. I couldn't get that straight. Can you tell me if the U.S. coins will still be valuable? Well, I guess there's going to be a period of time that you can take the coins into the bank and, get dollar bills for them. That's what I would do. If you've got copper, like in a, big jar of whatever, of pennies or whatever, keep them because they're going to be worth a fortune, right? Now, like I said, there's lots of things going on right now. Like I said, Tom Clark up in Canada, he's being investigated right now. Thank God for that, because he was always a little weasel, even on CTV as a reporter, and he got hooked into the Liberal Party or whatever, and now he's sitting in his $8.8 million penthouse in Manhattan, and on a $200,000 a year income. Like, how does that even add up? So there's something very criminal going on there, and I want the investigation done. I want him arrested, and I want the Manhattan property seized. Not that it's going to be worth $8.8 million anymore, but I do not want that little so-and-so to have it. Quarters, well, for the time being, they're worth a quarter. So if you've got a whole bunch of quarters, take them into the bank and get your dollar bills for them. Because I don't think, coins are not going to exist in our new world. I just don't think so. Right? Was a nickel actually made out of nickel? I don't know. But if it was, that's got great value on it now. All right? But I'd get rid of all the coins. I really would. And Group 7 is a hoax. Be careful with the groups. Well, I don't, there you go. And that's what I mean. It's Group 7 is just a trending name. That's all it is. That doesn't take away anything of who we are. We're intuitives. You want to call us anything you want to call us, that's fine. It doesn't change our, who we are. Right? Okay. The same here. Yeah. Yeah, and there's a couple of things going on right now. There's a lot of action in Alberta right now. There's a lot of Albertans going to these meetings. I think there was one big one in Alberta when Danielle Smith showed up there for a rally or whatever was going on. They were all chanting, we're done with Ottawa. We're finished with Ottawa. It's over. And, that was a substantial crowd that was there, right? I'm not sure exactly what was going on there, but that's the report I'm getting. And, of course, there's shootings all over the United States. And the latest one, apparently, even with the military being in Chicago, there was 14 different shootings there and with 4 dead. Okay, and then there was a shooting in a tunnel. I'm not sure where it was in the United States, but it was, people were having to jump out of their cars and hide behind their cars or whatever. What my question is that how come you people don't have protection? Like, this stuff will not happen if they start getting shot back at. And learn how to use it to protect yourself and your family. Like, if I was in the States right now, I'd be loaded up. I'd be really loaded up because I'm not going to have, this type of threat on myself or my family. Yeah, well, like I said, we can think whatever we want to think about the Q or the Group 7. It's really, I think it's people are identifying it with a lot of higher frequency people that resonate with each other, which is positive. Do we need to set QFS? No, we don't need to set a QFS account, okay? It's already set up. for everyone that has a bank account. So happy things are being exposed. Yes, I mean, we're getting, the cartels are getting hammered. Right now, there was the 82nd Airborne foiled a daring cartel border breach in Arizona, and they went in there. They tried to, get crossing across the border, whatever was happening, and the 82nd Airborne caught on to it, and big shootout, and the cartel got the bad end of the stick there, right? And also that, remember I said the daring Marines did a daring rescue on a bunch of American children that were kidnapped somewhere and they were being held somewhere in the jungles of the Panama jungle. I mean, just bizarre stuff. And Antifa's, they're getting their ass kicked. They're trying to, do these no king protests and all this other one, and ICE and military are not putting up with the bullshit, right? I can't wait till it starts happening here in Canada. Will loan be considered null and void? Yes, absolutely. I cannot listen to the voice messages. Oh, well, then just tell me that, and I'll type it for you, okay? Chicago is bad. I live in Illinois. Yeah, the military's there. They're cleaning it up, but there's a lot. I mean, you have to understand that there's, how old is Chicago? I mean, how old is that city? That's been going on for a couple, 250 years at least. That's one of the original, states of the original 13 states, I believe, and that's got a long history, 250 years of and a lot of it being corruption. That was where the old speakeasies were, and that's where the mafia's layers were embedded in there for years and years. Thank you for the love and blessings. Yeah. Oops. Okay, so let's get into the questions here. Anybody's got any questions, feel free. How will we get notified from the redemption centers? You'll be notified through your messenger. A word of mouth from other people. Until I get an NDA, I have to sign an NDA. I'm going to keep doing this, right? Okay? Whatever message that I get, I'm going to keep doing it. Now, there's a lot of people, like it says, that have been, that I was, contacting with, and I was getting information through, that all of a sudden kind of fell off the, what do you call it, the newsreel, and they're not anywhere to be found. Now, I want to say before I forget also, because there's so much stuff that I even forget about even writing it down. But Mark Z, his son, is an extremely bright, I would say almost, genius level. And he has been, when all kids his age were going out there and, playing on their bicycles and all that other stuff and toying around, whatever, he was into doing the crypto and all this other stuff and the banking system and the finance system because he saw what his dad was doing. Because his dad has been into it for a lot of years, Mark Z. And of course, Mark Z was following Mr. Cortell, Mr. C, right? And he says, there is a Nasera Jacera, there is a redemption, there is a QFS, all that's happening. But the thing that really, bounced out at me was the fact is that don't listen to any of the hoopla that's going on with the markets right now, okay? And Martin Brodeur, okay, on his site just finished vetting that and basically ensuring conveying what Zester said, and they both agree that everything's going to be reevaluated. Money, all the currencies around the planet, going to be reevaluated, especially the dinar and the dong. Those have to be reevaluated based on their current country's value. And the problem is with those countries right now, they have so much riches in the ground, okay, that they can't afford to bring it out of the ground because their money, right, is so devalued. So it takes them trillions and trillions of dollars to try to get it out of the ground. So this is the problem. They don't, they don't want to accept the US dollar to have any other country come in and exploit their mineral assets. Okay? But all this is going to change when we do the revaluation. So that it was, like silver and gold or whatever the case may be, would be hard to bring out of the ground. Like Canada's extremely rich in all, mineral asset. Extremely rich. But because of our dollar being 40% lower than the Americans, it costs us 40% more to bring it out of the ground. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and they're suppressing it. So that the thing that we look upon, which is the what you call it there, this thing, it's what we look at every day. Of course, there it is. So what we look at every day, right? We see that, we go all these things here. JM Bullion is putting all these numbers out here. It's absolute bullshit. It's all bullshit. Because when they do the revaluation, everything's going to be revaluated. Every currency on the planet is going to be reevaluated. So, the people that are out there that are saying, there is no QFS, there is no redemption, they're going to have to argue or have a debate with, hundreds of people that are been following the QFS and the quantum financial system and the, Nasera Jacera. There's thousands of them out there that they're going to have to debate that with, to prove them that there won't be a QFS, or to prove to everybody that is following it. Yeah, you get where I'm saying? Okay. So, yeah, you got pepper spray. Good for you. But like I said, that's for close quarter contact. If if they come in within a 6-foot radius of you and they're threatening you, pull it out and hit them. But what I'm saying is that everybody can go out there and get a airsoft gun, like a paintball pistol, right? You don't need a license for that, and you can get, like, instead of the round balls with the paint in it type thing, you can freeze that, put those little paintballs, get the red ones, and put those little paintballs in the freezer. Okay, and then take them with you, in a thermos, right? So they stay frozen, and then if you're in an area that you're not too sure about, then you can load your pistol up. And if there, that, I'm telling you, if you get hit with any one of them, that's like getting hit with rock salt out of a shotgun. I swear to God, that will bring down a bloody. It'll make cows move. That's how hard it is, and I've seen it before. Especially if you got your canister, gassed up to the brim. That's a very, very painful shot. It won't kill them, but it'll bring them to their knees. You're welcome. Yeah. I'd like to get into all these questions. Will loans be considered null and void? Yes. Everything right now is null and void. Okay, the stock market is already done. Okay, it's finished. It was finished a long time ago. I think from what Martin Brodeur said, AI is running it with a close surveillance of the military, which is probably Space Force, is watching over it very, very carefully. So it's already gone down. It should have, and I don't know why they're playing all this out, but I guess, there is a lot of theory behind this going on right now about, everybody has to, get it's so broken down emotionally, that when it does happen, it's going to be, all your emotions are going to be drained or negatives, and everything's going to be drained out of you. So, you'll have this open vessel to accept all the new and wonderful technology and financial and medical, and everything will be ready to go, and you'll be very excited about, being all a part of it. And, God, I was ready to go 10 years ago. Yes, EBS is real. Now, like I says, it might not be as rocky as we think it might be, right? Did you see the arrest of the NBA guys? Yes. There was, they're doing, Kash Patel announced that there's illegal gambling going on, sports rigging, and there was Damon Jones, there's Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups. I don't know these people, but they all got arrested for cooking the books. And, they're the Gambino families, the Genovese, Lacosters, all those big crime families are all involved. So that's going to be another takedown. Kash Patel is doing business, and we have to, the only time you're going to see, these lefties and crazies just screaming and hollering is because their criminal empire is falling. It's failing. It's failing them very rapidly. Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. That's going to be a really good Christmas. So, I'm hoping it's, I'm hoping it's going to be really fast. I mean, like in October, so we can prepare properly for. And I'm not even going to say if it's Christmas or not, because I know what Christmas is all about, and I believe that it's nice to be there on the holidays with our family, but a lot of this Christmas stuff and these holidays are going to come out in the wash. Am I a retired officer? No. I'm a retired structural engineer that built buildings in 18 or 20 different countries. Can't even remember now. And of course, my last one that I'm building that I lived in now is in the Philippines. So I've done several projects in the Philippines, probably 500 in Japan, and a lot more that I've been involved with throughout Asia and the States and Canada. And yeah. Yes, good point. Good point, Holly. I saw today that the UK Prime Minister Stalmer was arrested. Don't know if it was true. It looks like it was true. From what I understand, there was a lot of people wanting to get at him, but he was being, well protected with his bobbies around him. And, they were trying to get him to a vehicle and get him in the vehicle and take him downtown. So he's on his way out. And I expect a lot of these, placeholders. I'm not going to call them politicians. They're placeholders in, you know, all these different G7 countries, including Canada. They're all going down. And like I said, Alberta is leading the way to becoming the 51st. There's, you know, I bet you there's well over 60% of Albertans, and I'm talking about true Albertans, right, that are wanting to get connected and get that pipeline, you know, push it through into Montana, and let's get this thing rocking. That's what they want to do, because that'll create a whole pile of jobs. But you have to understand, there's it might have to come down economy-wise a little bit more before it gets better in Canada. I don't know what they have planned, but I do know in the end, you know, Scotland and Ireland, Greenland, Canada, United States, South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia will be one big happy family. Okay? Excuse me for my throat.